after the Facebook Live episode number 17. Guys, I haven't done this in a while. And yeah, like I've just been under the pump. So I unfortunately haven't been able to get to these as quickly. These Facebook Live, just quickly while I remember, it also goes up in our podcast. So if you're wondering what exactly happens to these videos, they at times get shared up on YouTube, and also they always get shared up on our podcast. So they're part of the podcast show, which I actually have a point to talk about as well. So if you're wondering, I'll put a link in the description to the SoundCloud. But if I forget to do that after the video, just go over to omegadigital.com.au and you'll see in the top right hand corner there's like a little cloud icon. That's SoundCloud, and I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to our SoundCloud. So I'm trying to think of ways to really improve the podcast, to make it about a variety of different topics that all matter in business. And one of the big topics that seems to get a lot of traction on our podcast is the anxiety. Talking about anxiety, talking about how much it plays a detrimental role in our lives, my experience, my story, and like people have honestly have really come to it and provided some amazing feedback around it. So look, I appreciate it if you'll subscribe. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to the small business group that I have on Facebook, please do that ASAP. If you don't, you're going to hurt my feelings. Basically, this group is for like businesses to come and ask questions, and it's a good opportunity that if you got a website, that if you run a business, you have a website, you want to learn more about online marketing, then why not have an option to talk with us and exchange ideas and questions and things like that. So it'd be great if you would join the small business group that I have. Second thing is, I've started a online marketing group called the Omega Digital Marketers Group. And what I've done is based on the Strangers into Friends initiative, if you remember that. For those who don't, or joined us late, it's basically an initiative that I started to basically build new partnerships. And I have 1,200 people on my LinkedIn, and probably 5% of them I actually know, and even less than that, people that not just I know, but they're actually regular friendships, people that I talk to regularly. So I'm trying to improve that number and try to and basically just email out to 100 people. And so out of that group, the people that I've had meetings with and people that I already know from a range of different backgrounds, so like email marketing, another SEO and conversion optimization specialist, B2B social selling. So we've actually started a group on meeting up once, hopefully every quarter, and I've started that, and the first meeting will be on August the 2nd at 8 a.m. in the morning over in Surrey Hills. So I'm going to actually probably talk about that meeting more after, whether it's worth continuing. I think that there's a place and for us to sort of expand the group to where they come on our podcast and we start answering questions for businesses and building it up that way. I think that I think it's important that having networks are very, very important, but also I want to actually start revolutionizing ways and ideas on how to improve the network. Like, what can we do that no other network is doing? And so I really want them to be fundamentally part of my podcast as well, and to answer your questions as well, because I'm really doing this for you guys. So yeah, so I'll do a post about that in the coming weeks. One of the big stories that I've produced this month with our social media has been a story that I told that 1.5 months ago. I essentially, 1.5 months ago, 1.5 years ago, I was working with my longest ever serving client, and I came to and we lost a lot of traffic very, very quickly. And I went through a pretty bad time in my career because I was actually second guessing myself and whether, I had what it take to turn around, because I was very, very, very close to the campaign. I was very sort of involved with the client. It was basically personal, and essentially to be able to, to have the motivation and the commitment when I felt so low, and that I started second guess whether I would be the right person to get this client out of a slump, because we practically have family, friends. We've been working together for over 7 years, and I thought maybe I was just a little bit too close to the campaign. And at the same time, I was jumbling a lot of different things. I was looking over a lot of different things. I was looking at the paid advertising, social media, emails, and just like looking over the business, all facets of online marketing rather than my specific expertise, which is search engine optimization. And so I was sort of overseeing everything. And in that time, I believe, I don't know for sure, but I believe I didn't see certain things happen. And obviously, the campaign dropped and lost significant amounts of traffic. I'm talking like less than half of what we're getting right now. And I was just I told the client, look, maybe I'm too close. I've never worked with a client that's pretty much 70 to 80% of my career I've been working with. And so maybe it gets to the point where, clients need to sort of, switch over and maybe need like a second opinion. And what my client said to me was absolutely amazing. He said, no, Andrew, you are going to go back to SEO only to do this, what you are essentially paid to do. But you're not going anywhere. We believe in you, and we want you to turn this ship around. And we believe that not working with you would be an absolute mistake to stop working with you now. And it's sort of, because I've told the story so many times, when I first thought I was quite emotional. I'm a little bit emotional, but back when I first mentioned it this week, I was very emotional. And I got an email about 3 months ago, and I didn't really talk about it because I was just like, I don't know if I'm going to talk about this. It's sort of a little bit really personal, right? Really involved, really business information that I somewhat kept confidential. But 3 months ago, I got an email saying that we've turned it around, and that we knew you would, Andrew. But this is like a year after, and the hard work, sweat, tears, sort of just the focus, the stress that I had for 3 to 5 months after the big drop happened, and that, the client backing me to get out of this mess, and to actually do that, and to get an email to say you've done that, and the numbers are looking great. And it's, look, the reason that I'm happy that we got out of it is that there's like a battle scar in me now, where it's always a reminder that it can happen again at any time. So we have to keep it. We have to be on guard. We have to take away in this moment that in online marketing, you can't take nothing for granted. And in this particular space and industry, it's aggressive. It's the jewelry industry. It's aggressive, like nothing. And there's competitors like million dollar companies, multi-million dollar companies, global companies that are just on our back and on our back. They want to steal your lunch. And to bring back the traffic back to where it needed to be, pretty much, I actually had a goal for last year at the end of this year to be up to a certain number, and we're only like a few thousand off that number, and it's only July, or probably pretty much August now. But so it's amazing to actually be so close to reaching this goal, where last year it was still sort of like at the time when we set the goal, it was still, things were looking good, but we weren't really sure, especially over the Christmas period. But then come May, I get that email from the client, and things have changed enough to the point where he's happy to see the growth curve back up and consistent, because you have to implement all these strategies again. And I was so emotional that I was able to pull back what we lost now. But it's a reminder that you can't take anything for granted at all, like nothing. So, I think that was fantastic. Guys, I put up on Facebook a note to myself, 40-year-old self, and what difference am I going to make in the world? So, on Facebook, if you write the message, it basically will come to you and say, like in 10 years' time, you wrote this. And I wrote, what difference have I made to the world? How have I made the world a better place? What new partnerships have I built? What does my family think about me? What does my pastor think about me? What does my friends think about me? What do my colleagues think about me? What do my son? Like, he's my family, but even specifically, what's life going to look like in 10 years' time? And so, and a reminder that life has just started to get to work. So it was a good thing to put that live so everyone realized that how much time there is, and that 40 really isn't a scary number. You can start life and kick into it with what you love doing at 40, and it's still not too late. There's a good chance you're going to live to 80, so you've still got another 40 years to kick it. So, for me, like 30, I just turned 30 last September, and I just, looking back over the last 10 years of my 20s, and I'm pretty happy of where it's come. I learned a lot in that time. There's a lot of challenges. The anxiety being probably the biggest that comes to mind. I learned to live on my own. So a lot of social, economic, financial, spiritual, emotional sort of revolutions happened in my 20s. And I'm thinking now, well, you know what? Now I'm 30. The 20s was rough, it was rocky, but now the 20s has laid the foundation for me for the next 10 years. There's no excuses. And I think that's just a great way to look at life. I do anyway. So my last decade was rough, but that doesn't. I mean, I want, like, the harder you work and the more you want to accomplish, you're going to make your life hard. I'm not scared of making my life hard, but now I feel like I'm mature enough. I understand the world enough, and there's still so much to learn. Ridiculous. There's always more to learn than what you already know, but I feel like I'm in a much better mindset to take on and to really push the business where it needs to be, because essentially the first, you remember in my 6-year journey, if you haven't read it, go to Amiga Digital, search up 6-year journey, there's an article pop up where I talk about the first 3 years pretty much suffering with anxiety. So now it's all guns blazing. It's one gear, it's go. So now there's no more bullshit excuses. There's no more reasons. I laid the foundation in my 20s. I got married in my 20s. So everything is done, like the first property, everything's sort of taken care of in my 20s. And considering how far we've come with my wife and I think it's a really good place to be. So it's a reminder to everyone out there that if you're 30 or under, there's a message in there saying you got so much. Lay the foundation in your life, have patience, you've got plenty of life to live, get everything in order. I think the best thing I did in my 20s, unknowingly, was I got everything ready for my 30s. I didn't know, but here's the message for everyone that's out there that's under 30. Get your ducks in a row. So you've got plenty of time. So do what you got to do. So for the next 10 years, you're worried about... I kind of always wanted in my late 20s, I really want to start focusing on these 2 or 3 things. I don't want to have any more problems, outside problems and this and that and all this. I call them distractions, really. apart from the goal. What's the goal? So I think that if you're under 30, that's the way I would be. And if you're over 30, and you're in your 30s, mid to late 30s, then the good thing is, I think, is 40 is the new 30. So, get to work. Don't waste any more time. You got one life. Try to figure out what it is that you want to do. I'm very passionate about that. Also, I've been actually, I put up a post on LinkedIn and on Twitter, and I think I put it up on Facebook, that I want to start interviewing startups, execs, CEOs. Actually, I pretty much want to interview even anybody. Right now, anybody. If you're a student, if you don't know what you want to do in life, if you're young, if you sort of just left school, you don't know what you're going to do, I'll interview you. I'll have a conversation with you, 20 to 30 minute conversation on the podcast. Either do Google Hangouts, we'll get it recorded live, and I'll post it up, and hopefully I can help you. I think laying the foundation in my 20s, I think I've got a lot to offer in that area. Build a lot of great content. Whereas if I'm going to start interviewing business people, managers, executives, I want it to be the show more about running a business, running a startup, how it is running a team, how you cope with the stress of a growing business. So we're going to probably interview different people and ask different questions. But I don't like the word interview as much. I like the word just discussion, like have an agenda, a rough agenda. And you know what? If 10 minutes, we've got nothing else to say, then it's a 10-minute podcast. With me, I can usually keep the conversation flowing, but sometimes I can't. So if the conversation's run out, it's run out. It's run its course, it's run its course. I think that there's always something to say, and people love biographies. I love biographies. I used to watch it with my mum on Foxtel. I used to watch the biography channel with mum on Foxtel. And it's very interesting to hear people's perspective. So depending on who we interview or who we have a discussion with, we'll lay the agenda. But it's either going to be business, startup, business life, about that person, about their career, their job. And I want to somehow tie, if I can, excluding the students, of course, but tie the marketing perspective. What does marketing look like in 2018? So if we get someone in real estate, what does marketing look like for someone in real estate to understand what does marketing mean for them, and have that conversation? I think I can go on for 4 hours about that conversation. I love business, I love marketing, I love people, so the conversation will flow, it'll be easy, it'll be entertaining, and I think you've got nothing to lose to listen to that. So there'll be more information, and if you're keen on getting interviewed or want to interview, like comment someone in on this post, or DM me your details, and hopefully we can set something up. The other day I was told over the phone, when I was speaking to one of my clients' executives, that Andrew, you love your job. Now, what we were talking about essentially was content, the importance of content. What does content mean in 2018? How can we produce quality content? And I basically just went on this massive rant. I felt like this rant was coming, right? And she wanted to know about this sort of, if you go on to larsonjewelry.com.au, we've released a section called what type of engagement ring are you, or something along the lines, for predominantly, I think, females to fill it in. Like if you're a guy, you wear engagement rings, whatever. So you go there, you fill the questions in, and you see sort of the engagement ring that may be suitable for you. And we're just encouraging that. So we're talking about sort of content that people are going to interact with, like and share and all the rest of it. And I just went on this massive rant, right? And she turned around and said, Andrew, you love your job. And you know what? I was happy when I heard that. It's real life, man. When people can feel your energy, your passion, that's why I'm obsessed with helping people find something that they love, because the energy is natural. You want to come into work. You have, it's just so much easier to come to work when you love what you do. And, I was talking about like content is everything today in 2018 in business and in marketing. Absolutely everything. And just because you're writing something, you're doing a video, people don't have to listen to you. It's not just creating content. It's creating meaningful content that gets clicked on, shared, liked. It changes. Even if it changes one person, that's fine. It isn't necessarily the amount, but you want it to be able to not just talking, and just because you're talking, someone has to listen to you. No. That's not how it goes down. But, it's so good. This happened this week and it was absolutely amazing. And I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was really awesome. So hopefully, I can help people, find what they love doing. So if it's something, I talked about it a lot. I don't even have to go back on it. But I think when you enjoy what you're doing and the energy is flowing and you're expressing yourself and you're contributing and things are progressing, life is just so much better. And on that note, I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks a lot, guys. It's been a pleasure. I bought a MacBook Pro, so I'm still loading the Apple after my Windows 10 SSD laptop died, the SSD hard drive. So, guys, if you've got any questions, please DM anyone that's interested in the podcast. If you've got any questions about this, comment below. And if you would like it, share it and subscribe. It's probably going to go on YouTube as well. I'll definitely appreciate it. And guys, I look forward to speaking with you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.